Xin chào các bạn, em là thầy Colin và em sẽ nói chuyện với các bạn. Whittaker, Derrida, UFC, Fight Night nhé. Ok nhé. Bắt đầu có Martin Buday và Marcus Buchecha. Em em không biết mấy nhưng mà em muốn chọn Buday Buday vì Buday có nhiều nhiều UFC experience nhé, nhưng mà Buchecha có nhiều nhiều trái tim, nhiều nhiều cảm dũng, thì em chọn Buchecha nhé. Ok nhé. Alright, I'm not gonna speak in Vietnamese the entire time. My Vietnamese is not that great. So I wanted to pick Bude. He has a lot more experience. I tried to do some tape study on him. All I could watch was the muffin top, that little flab of belly that he has hanging over his shorts. It was flopping around like flubber in that Robin Williams movie. I couldn't watch any of his stand-up do that. He likes to do a little bit of cage smushing. I don't think that'll work very well against Buchecha. And Buchecha has shown he has heart in that Rug war that he had. He took some massive shots. He didn't give up. He fought, I believe, the entire 15 minutes in a ring against Rug. And I think Rug is definitely on the sauce. I would pick Rug to beat Boudet, and Buchecha lost that Rug fight. But he made it competitive, even though he got battered in the first round. Buchecha is, of course, the better athlete. His striking is probably not as good as Boudet, but I wouldn't even know because I tried to watch Boudet's fight and I can't even watch anything. I just see that little extra little flab that he's got hanging down. It's like hanging down by his knees, swinging about. So I'm gonna have to pick Buchecha, and I want to pick Buchecha probably by sub, maybe first, second round submission. Next up, we have Muhammad Yahya versus Stephen Nguyen. I'm going to side with Nguyen, my Vietnamese brother. Even though I'm not Vietnamese, I live in Vietnam, so going to side with Nguyen. Nguyen Stephen and Muhammad Yahya has not looked that great to me, and he's ranked 339th in the world. Not the best stats, but we'll see how that one plays out. Up next, we got Billy Elakana with half the wins as Ibo Aslan. Look at the traps on that dude. My golly goodness. I'm going to have to side with Ibo Aslan probably by KO finish. I don't know much about either of these guys, so I'm just going to call it how it is. I think those traps, look at those delts, they're popping. You're gonna have to pick Ibo Aslan. Up next, we have Ricci versus Hebas. You know what? I'll side with Ricci on this one. Up next, we got Damon, the man who gave Chris Moutinho a win, versus Davy Grant. Now, I think Damon's a pretty big favorite, minus 245. David Grant's plus 205. Davy Grant's older. Davy Grant is definitely at the tail end of his career. A lot of people are picking Blackshear, but I think Davy Grant has a pretty good chance to win. I gotta be careful with my predictions. I want to at least slide a few dogs in here. I don't want to throw in a bunch of favorites. So I'm gonna side with Davy Grant. And I just think he has a better chance of he has more ways to win. He likes to scrap it out. He's not afraid to go on the ground with somebody. Although Damon Blackshear is a lot stronger, probably much better ground game, and he definitely could latch up a submission. But I'm just gonna side with David Grant. I think he's a dog that has a little juice on him. I think he has a way to win, and he doesn't fight like he's washed and old yet, even though he's been in a lot of wars. So I'm gonna side maybe David Grant might piece him up a bit here and there. Maybe Damon takes him to the ground. Next round, maybe David Grant gets a little more damage done. Damon tries to go for submission, rinse and repeat. Definitely could see Blackshear winning, but if you lose to Chris Matinho, I don't care if it was 8 years ago or whatever it is. It just doesn't look good on the resume, and I gotta go with my boy Dangerous, Davy Grant. Up next, Salikov versus Carlos Leal. Now, I like both these guys. I really like Carlos Leal. He's a big favorite over Salikov. This is another one where I do want to pick Leal because I think he will win. Those body shots that he throws are nasty. He's like the Brazilian JDM, and he's definitely on the sauce. But I think I'm gonna have to pick the big dog here, Muslim Salikov. I think Salikov, definitely could lose. Carlos Leal could push him up against the fence. Those kicks could be negated very easily. Carlos Leal has a very obvious way to win. Pressure him, negate the kicks, land heavy body shots, go upstairs. But I think Salikov has a good chance to win as well. And he's a big dog, so I'm going to pick Salikov. I don't want to just pick favorites or just the people that I think that will win. I want to kind of take into account the odds. Not that I'm betting, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun when you get a dog. All right, up next, we got Bryce Michelle versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. Now, Saeed's kicks are lightning quick. This one's tough. I'm flip-flopping on this one, left and right, left and right. Bryce Mitchell's going down in weight. He's going to be sacrificing strength and maybe cardio as well. Saeed's been at that weight class. He's lost to really good competition. Bryce Mitchell's lost to much better competition, in my opinion. But going down in weight doesn't look great. You're sacrificing your strength, you're sacrificing cardio, you might even be sacrificing your chin, which has been taking a hit recently. But does Saeed have enough power to really, really hurt Bryce and KO him? I don't think so. He could catch him, especially with Bryce going down. But Bryce has been doing a lot. Or I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Bryce has been working on his way down in weight for a while now. I reckon Bryce probably will do okay. If I'm not mistaken, I think he cuts weight like Marab. He does it like old school, but maybe I'm getting that completely wrong. I think I'm gonna have to side with Bryce Michelle. I think he might be able to negate the kicks again like like if Carlos Leal wins, he could negate the kicks of Saeed. Saeed's wrestling is not the best, although it's not bad. His takedown defense is not bad. His get-up game is not bad. I think it could look like the Howney Barcelos fight where Saeed's kicks are lightning quick the first round. Maybe he tags Bryce a couple times, kind of plays it on the outside, pieces him up, does a little point fighting, and then maybe hurts Bryce a little bit. But maybe Bryce just keeps the pressure. Bryce doesn't really have, a lot of quit in him. And I think that he's got the Lord on his side. He's going to Abu Dhabi. He's gonna have to have the Lord on his side there in Islamic territories. I'm gonna have to side with Bryce Mitchell. I think that he might get it done. I think it's a pick 'em. Yeah, it's about 100 and they're even. Saeed's a slight favorite, which he probably should be, because Bryce going down in weight's not something that great. And most people don't look good when they go down in weight. Look at Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. He did not look great against like a 90-year-old Max Griffin. I think that he's got that Arkansas blood in him, though. I think that he'll be able to make the weight. He's been eating nothing but eggs from his UFC Octagon chicken coop full of his purebred chickens, Arkansanian chickens. So I think that he'll have the Lord on his side. But Saeed could win a decision. Maybe hurts Bryce in the first and the second round. And with those Islamic judges cooking up their decisions over there, we might say Saeed go to 19-4, but I'm going to have to pick with my Arkansanian brother Bryce Mitchell. Up next, Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Now, this is a toughie too. Bogdan, pretty new in the UFC, versus Krylov, who's been a journeyman and a vet. What is Krylov's age again? Krylov, 92. He ain't even that old, but I feel like he's been in the UFC forever. 11 wins, 8 losses in the UFC. He just lost to Dominic Reyes, Ankalaev to Sherian Blachowicz, Paul Craig. Everybody gets caught by Craig, though. Where's this country? Uzbekistan. This guy's Uzbeki. Interesting. Okay. So he's about the same age, just 32. Oh, he just beat Billy Elikana, huh? He lost to Vulcan. He said he had 4 fights in the UFC? Dang. I didn't even remember half those. Vyacheslav Vasilevsky. Scrub. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Lost by rear naked choke to Vulcan. Krylov's the heavy favorite, right? I don't want to pick all the dogs either. I know Guskov could definitely get this one done. He has 4 fights in the UFC. Man, this is a toughie. You know, I'm gonna have to pick Krylov on this one. I didn't do any tape study this week. Very little, actually. I did a little bit. But I'm gonna have to pick Krylov on this one. All right, up next we got Asu Almabayev, who was gonna go against Temirov, who's a really good striker. Now he's facing up and coming Jose Ochoa, who just fought recently. When did he just fight? He just fought Cody Durden in June, like 6 weeks ago. So really quick turnaround. He lost to Loner Kavanaugh. I think Jose Ochoa is like a pick'em, right? Near even. I gotta go with Asu Almabayev. He was gonna face Temirov, so he doesn't really have to change up his strategy a whole lot here. Temirov's a KO artist. I think Jose Ochoa is also a KO artist. Well, I don't know if we can call them artists that flyweight, but they have a lot of KOs for flyweight. Maybe we could see a Joshua Van style upset here. Quick turnaround at flyweight, comes in, gets the job done. I'm gonna have to pick with Asu Almabayev. I don't think Jose Ochoa is on the same level as Van, although he could get the upset. I'm just gonna go with Asu Almabayev. Gotta go with a couple favorites there. Up next, oh my gosh, I want to pick Andre Barriault, Marc-Andre Barriault. I don't think I can. Like they're just giving Shara a bullet these matchups. I almost want to just pick Marc-Andre Barriault because I don't like Shara. It's a minus 500 favorite. Man, how could Marc-Andre get it done? Just pressure him up against the cage, use his wrestling, and he probably will win like the first 2 rounds and then get KO'd in the third. A lot of juice on Marc-Andre Barriault. I don't think I can pick him. I don't think I can pick him. He's been losing a lot lately too. Man, he beat Bruno Silva. That's, you know, Bruno Silva's win doesn't age very well. Man, he's just lost so many to not the best competition. I almost want to pick him just because. But I don't think there's any way that he wins this fight. And if it goes to decision, they're in Char's backyard. Char's probably going to win. Man, I want to pick Marc Andre. Screw it. Who cares? I'm going to go with Marc Andre. I'm rooting for him. I'm picking him. Let's go decision for Marc-Andre Barriault. Maybe he gets almost put out in the third round, but maybe he bags the first 2 rounds by just pressuring Shara against the fence and landing some strikes from the clinch. I don't know. Just screw Shara Bullet. I ain't picking that dude. Up next, we got Piotr Jan versus Marcus McGee. Both strikers. Piotr Jan's got the cleaner strikers. Marcus has the power. This one's probably going to be fight of the night. I think Piotr Jan's a big favorite, and he should be. I don't think he's ever been a dog. Somebody was saying that in a chat. I don't think a lot of people are picking McGee. I'm gonna have to go with Piotr Jan. Marcus McGee, look at that hairline. He's got like that Keith Thurman look going on. That'd be sick if Marcus won it. It'd also be kind of sad for Piotr Jan because he's that good. What is their ages again? Marcus McGee, 35. Piotr Jan's probably the same, right? Maybe a little younger. 32. Gotta go with Piotr Jan. Much cleaner boxer. They're both boxers, eh? I gotta go with Piotr Jan. Looks like Marcus is out of Southpaw. At least in that photo right there. Yeah, I need to do more tape study on Marcus McGee. But I didn't have time this week. I'll try to get to it more in the future. Next up, the main event, what everybody's been waiting for, Robert Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. I see a lot of people picking Reinier de Ridder, even though he's the slight underdog on the betting odds. I see a lot of people putting money on Reinier de Ridder because he beat Bobby or Bo Diddley, Bo Nickel. But I think Robert Whittaker would have beat Bo Nickel even easier and quicker than RDR. And Robert just lost his last fight by nasty submission, but from Chimaev. Reinier de Ridder has the submission game. He could sub Robert Whittaker, and it's a 5 round fight, so he could catch him like a middleweight Paul Craig. He could hold Robert down for a little bit, and that will probably happen. I think Robert will get some damage done though. When it's on the feet, RDR is gonna have a tough time staying with old Bobby Nux. So I'm gonna have to side with Bobby Nux. But Reinier de Ridder, man, his arms are so lanky. When they raise his hands, his arms are just touching the rafters. When he walks, his knuckles are dragging on the floor. But I think Bobby Nux, he's got one last fight in him. Nah, I shouldn't say that. He's got a couple fights left in him. But Bobby Nux, man, I think he would have destroyed Bo Diddley just as easily, if not easier, than RDR. And RDR, he's only got 2 losses, man. That's crazy. But yeah, this is a tough one to pick. Like I say with most of the fights, RDR has a good chance of winning. He could catch him and sub him. I gotta side with Bobby Knucks. So I'm going Robert Whittaker. Quick recap. Robert, Fave. Petr Yan, Fave. Marc-Andre Barriault. Let's go. Dog. Asu. Pretty much even. Krylov, favorite. I'm going Bryce. Pretty much even. I'm going Salikov, big dog. I'm going Davy Grant, medium-sized dog. Richie's even. Iboslan's favorite. Wins favorite. They don't even have the odds. He should be the favorite. And I think I'm gonna go Buchecha. So I got a couple good dogs in there sprinkled in. Excuse me. So that's it. That wraps it up. UFC Fight Night, Whittaker versus DeRitter. I'll probably be sleeping for most of this because this is on a terrible time, or this is at a terrible time for me. Anyways, peace out. See you next time.